Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
A draft bill to repeal the State Act and to adopt the Central Act, and also the draft Meghalaya Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Rules 2022 for the state of Meghalaya was taken up and discussed. As you all know, that the state government had enacted the Meghalaya Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act 2014. However, the Government of India recently had legislated in the year 2014 the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act in March 2014. So, in a follow-up to the communication of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, the department has gone ahead to bring this agenda to the cabinet to repeal the present Meghalaya Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act 2014, and in its place adopt the Central Act. So this matter was discussed, and the cabinet gave its nod to the repeal of the State Act, and consequent to this we have also adopted the Regulation of Street Vending, Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Rules 2022. So this is one of the agendas which was taken up. The second formal item which was discussed was the introduction of the National Law University of Meghalaya Bill 2022. As you all know, that very recently the government had through an ordinance passed the National Law University of Meghalaya Ordinance. Since the assembly session is coming up, this ordinance will have to be now converted into a draft bill and placed in the assembly, and this will be now placed in the upcoming assembly session that is due to start in the month of September. The third formal item which was taken up by the cabinet today was the proposal to extend the second National Judicial Pay Commission as directed by the Honorable Supreme Court. This, as you all know, on the direction of the Honorable Supreme Court, the Government of India had notified the second National Judicial Pay Commission on the 16th of November 2017, and these recommendations are to evolve. The terms of reference of these recommendations was to evolve the principles which should govern the structure of pay and other emoluments of judicial officers, to examine the existing structure of emoluments and conditions of service, and to make recommendations including post-retirement benefits, to examine the work methods and the work environment, as also the variety of allowances and benefits, and to suggest rationalization. So this matter was discussed in the cabinet today. The views of finance and personnel were also sought, which were placed and made known to the members of the cabinet, and we have taken up this matter, and the cabinet has given its approval for implementing the recommendations of the second National Judicial Pay Commission. Apart from that, the next formal item which was taken up for discussion today was the amendment of the Meghalaya Education, Research and Training Service Rules 2012. The Directorate of Educational Research and Training has its service rules known as the Meghalaya Education, Research and Training Service Rules 2012. The services of the officers or lecturers of the DRT and principals of diets, lecturers of the diets are combined under the Meghalaya Education, Research and Training Service Rules 2012 for upward movement of service. So today this was brought to the cabinet to bring about an amendment for redesignation of the following posts or grades, namely 1 lecturer to assistant professor grade 2, secondly senior lecturer to assistant professor grade 1, and thirdly selection grade lecturer to associate professor. This has been necessitated as the terminology of lecturer, senior lecturer, selection grade lecturer have become obsolete in other states. So this was discussed, and this matter has been given its consent by the cabinet today. The Central Act, and this is pursuant to that we have to frame rules. So I can read some of the salient points mentioned in the rules. It will involve the setting up of provisional town vending committees. Then the constitution of these town vending committees would be, in terms of official member, the chairperson would be the chief executive officer or the executive officer of the municipal board. Representative of the deputy commissioner, not below the rank of additional deputy commissioner, would be the member secretary. Representative of the police, not below the rank of ASP, would be that is assistant superintendent of police, would be the member. Representative of traffic police, member. District health medical officer, member. Representative of planning authority, member, and representative of district council as a member. There will also be non-official members, which would namely be representatives of the street vendors shall not be less than 40% of total members in the committee. 1 representative from market and trade associations, 1 representative from non-government organizations and community-based organizations shall not be less than 10% of total members in the committee, 1 representative from local traditional institutions wherever applicable, and 1 representative from nationalized lead bank in the city or town as the case may be. There would be, the rules would spell out the mode of election or selection of the non-official members. The rules would also spell out the procedure for meeting of the town vending committees. Then functions of the town vending committees, then constitution of the grievance redressal committees, about how people can make basically the form and manner of making application to the grievance redressal committee, etc., etc. Ambiguity on this matter because of also the fact that there is a central act which is in place, and whether we will adopt this, and there was a move to ask the government to adopt the Central Act. So now that the Central Act has been adopted in the state of Meghalaya, I think that those there will be much more clarity as to the issues which have been raised by the Honorable High Court, and I think that there will be no further ambiguity.